What you're about to watch is a clip from my BrandLytics training where I get together with entrepreneurs, thought leaders who want to build their brand using YouTube and making data-driven decisions to blow up their brand this year. Enjoy. So solo videos. The most important thing is to lead with a powerful opinion. And the question I always ask people is, what do you believe that others don't? So you're going to make a video on habits. Great. What do you believe about habits that other people don't, that they would find weird? Like, I can't believe you said that. Because this is our goal, is to hook somebody in. This is specific for thought leadership videos. You are a thought leader. You are an expert. You know things that other people don't know. That's the whole idea. Why am I watching you? Because you're going to teach me something. So what do you believe that I don't already know? And that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. So, you know, when I've done my Thought Leadership Academy, we'll spend half a day just working on this stuff, practicing it, like writing it down and then saying it to the camera, because it's really hard. A lot of times it's hard to get out of our own heads. And so imagine, what I find helpful is imagining somebody. Imagine one of your clients. So Stephen might imagine an entrepreneur, Robert or his wife might be imagining somebody who's, you know, dealing with trauma. Like, you picture somebody. And then that's the first thing. You're talking to this person. I would always picture this photographer friend that I knew who always seemed to struggle, could never seem to figure it out. And instead of talking to the camera, like, I'm talking to this guy, I'm talking to you. How would he react? When I had my cameraman, there was one of them that always seemed to kind of disagree with what I said at the beginning. And it's like, great, you're perfect. So I pitched my first sentence to him, and then I see what his reaction was, and then that would change how I would then pitch my next sentence, right? If he said, "Wait, what?" It's like, perfect, I got my first sentence. If he agreed with me, it's like, okay, no, I gotta change it up. So lead with a powerful opinion. The first thing out of your mouth. This is really hard because, again, a lot of times people click record and then they go back, they default to how they've done it. Hey, welcome back. It's Evan. Like, no, I just told you, don't do that. Powerful opinion, first thing out of your mouth. That's how we need to lead this session. So most important part, deliver it with power as well. So this is where a lot of thought leaders also struggle, is that, okay, you finally get the perfect sentence out, but it's not delivered with any enthusiasm or excitement. And this is from some top people as well, who I know are great speakers. They're trying to memorize that first sentence. And then when they say it, the words come out perfect, but there's no emotional commitment to it. You have to be emotionally connected to the thing that you're saying, as if somebody is in front of you right now and they're struggling with that very thing and they need to hear from you. I know sometimes that's hard, just talking to a camera in studio and you're trying to stress out about memorizing that first line, etc. But your stage presence really, really matters. For anybody who's done speaking, you can get up on stage and say the exact same words, but if you don't have stage presence, you don't believe what you're saying at the core of your being, you're not going to sway the audience. It's the exact same thing. When you're talking to a camera, you're talking to a bigger stage than you would at any other stage, but you don't see them. And so that makes it a little more challenging. So whether you can call yourself out on it, or if you've got somebody on your team who's filming with you who can say, hey, that wasn't very good. Do it again. I remember when I recorded my audiobook for both Built to Serve and Your One Word, I had two people in my ear, my producer who's looking at all of the technical stuff of like, oh, you know, your stomach rumbled or something. Do that again. And then I had another producer who was in LA who was more paying attention to the tone. Like, hey, Evan, you read it perfectly, but there was no energy there. He's like, okay, thank you, man. Do it again. And I'd pick up from that line. So the emotional commitment, like, are you actually feeling the words that you're saying as opposed to just saying the words? Really, 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 really matters. Once you get into the teaching, you'll be fine. I very rarely meet somebody who signs up for this program or other thought leader experts, trainers, coaches. I'm not here to teach you how to teach. For the most part, you guys do that great. Once you get into the teaching, you're fine. And you see that in the retention curves. Like, people are watching. It's just that beginning part. And if we don't hook them in at the beginning, they're not going to watch the rest of our teaching. So powerful opinion, first sentence. Second sentence is context sentence. Like, what did you just say? You just told me something that doesn't make sense to me. You told me something that's challenging one of my belief systems. So repeat it again in different words. Make it make a little bit more sense. And then raise the stakes. And raise the stakes is what happens to me if I don't change this thing about myself. If I don't make this change by watching this video is going to teach you something. It's going to change my life. I'm going to become a new person at the end of this video, right? That's at least your emotional state going in. That's why we're making this video, to shift somebody's belief system on something that you know about. If I don't make that shift in this video, what happens? What happens to me? If I stay stuck, what happens to me? Your job as a thought leader is to give perspective. It's not just this one-off little moment that I'm struggling. It's my entire life. And so that's your job, is this one little thing that people think they care about. They need to have a much broader view of how this is impacting every area of their life. And if you fix that, it becomes the cornerstone habit to change everything in your life, right? It's like, oh my God, I thought I was just searching for a video. Now I'm watching this person who's about to change my whole life, right? So that becomes your job. So powerful opinion, context sentence, raise the stakes. If you have to write those down, those 3 sentences, if you have to record it 30 times until you get the energy and the flow right, it's worth it. Because once you get through this and you get into the teaching, you'll be fine. I don't need you to do another take when you're 20 minutes in and you're on point number 2 of whatever your teaching is going to be. But if you don't nail the first 3 sentences, film it again and film it again and film it again until you got the words right. And most importantly, you got the heart right. So here's Anna, who a member of the channel. I don't see her today, but Robert, her husband, is here on the stream. So Robert can be taking notes. This is one of her videos, Trauma Bonding Explained. And YouTube has added something relatively new for cards on these retention curves. So if you ever see an eye here, you can click over it and it'll show you what's going on. So she's got 3: intro, continue segment, and dip. Intro is going to be here in that blue section. Continue segment is probably going to be here. And then the dip is going to be at the end. It'll give you some data on it. We're not super focused on these other 2 segments. We're focused on what happens at the beginning. So if you hover over the eye on this one, it says 81% of viewers were still watching at the 30-second mark. This is higher than typical compared to your other recent videos. Nicely done. Hey, good job. Good job, Robert. You guys are doing it. So we're looking at this video, right? It's a 13-minute video, Trauma Bonding Explained. And I polled, okay, well, what is she doing? You know, what's happening? Why is it so good? So at the 118 mark, she's still at 73%. 118 into the video, she's still at 73%. So this is a great video. How does she start the video? There's one kind of romantic relationship that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And that's the kind that's been made intense by a trauma bond. If you were abused or neglected as a kid, you've probably been through it. And I want to help you make sure it never happens again. Right? Robert's smiling. Hey, she's doing a good job. She's doing a good job, Robert. Give her some props. This is great. I mean, it's 4 sentences instead of 3, but it's still great. So, you know, we have a powerful opinion, context sentence, raising the stakes. The only thing I would swap out here is probably. If there was a one critique on here, I would not use the word probably. At the beginning of any video, you don't want to hedge. If you were abused or neglected as a kid, you've been through this. And if there is a hedge, then you address it later. But we don't address the hedge at the beginning. And that's where, you know, Vanna were here to ask her, well, okay, how many people who've been neglected and abused as a kid have not been through this trauma? Right? And it's probably some really low percent. So don't hedge. But everything else is great. And so she leads with a powerful opinion. She's hitting 73% at 118 into the video. YouTube's giving her props for having such a great intro on it. And look how well the video is doing. Right? So this video is just over a month old, 43 days, let's call it. 20,000 views, which is 5.5 thousand more than usual. So the gray line is what a usual video would do. And here's how this video is doing. So all in, great job. You know, and Anna used to start her videos with something else. It used to be, hi, I'm Anna, I'm the crappy childhood fairy, on and on and on. She switched it to powerful opinion and it's working. So we like sharing the success stories as well. Now, I also pulled an old video from the channel that didn't have the powerful intro, and this one is about meditation. So one, I mean, the thumbnail isn't as good. It's an older video, so Robert, we can go back and work on that one. But look what happens at the beginning. Just tanks. Why? Well, look at what's happening on this video. It's the typical logo with music, Copy Childhood Fairy, right? And boom, instantly tanks. Right. So now this video also talks about meditation. That's the promise, how to meditate twice a day, something. The meditation doesn't actually start until here. So this is where when we need to match the thumbnail and the title and the beginning of the video, because people are skipping ahead to get to here because they don't want to see any of this intro, or then Anna starts talking about meditation, etc. This is this is a 24-minute video. So this is at least 3-4 minutes into the video, 5 minutes maybe, before something actually happens that delivers on the promise. So when you see a curve that drops this drastically, there's something wrong with our intro, right? So now we can't go back and fix this, but going forward, it's a great example of what is working and what is not working for the channel. If you want to see this full video as well as train live with me twice a month to blow up your brand, join the BrandLytics training program. There's a link to join right there next to me. Continue to believe. I'll see you there.